Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good people. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to demonstrate how to make a head on this ADDI machine. For this exercise, we need the machine, we need a pair of scissors, we need a needle for picking up our stitches, and of course, we need wool. There are various types of wool which you can use on this machine. There's double knit, which you can use. This is all double knit, snugly. All the double knits flow very freely on this machine, but they make thinner heads if you don't adjust the tension. There's also the Aran wool, which we are going to use today. The Aran wool is much thicker than the double knit, and it makes a much warmer head because it makes tighter knitting. It's just like when you're using knitting needles. With knitting needles, if you use a size 3 needle, size 4, the tension, size 5, the tension will be different for the same type of wool. Okay, so let's just begin by showing you that this is the wheel which we use for turning around the machine. As I'm going around like this, you can see all these white needles popping up. This is a 48-pin machine. Then you see these black ones coming up. It's got 3 black needles and 45 white needles. The same 48 needles will make an adult head and will make a child's head and all that. The only difference comes with the type of wool you use and the tension you apply, as you will see shortly on the wool. Okay, I've already shown you the wheel. It's also got this latchet. This is where the wool comes through. It's always meant to be closed so that you don't damage your needles. Then we've also got at the back here a row counter, because that will make sure you do the right rows which you want to do for the type of head which you want to make. For this one, we're just going to use this Aran wool, to make a small head. I will try and do 90, 100 rows, or I'll see how far we go. Okay, so yes, relax and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, the first thing is you need to put 40 to 50 centimeters of the wool to the center of the machine, and then twist your wheel around to make sure the black needles are facing the latchet. So we always begin at this first right black needle. This is where we begin our casting on. So you hook on the first black needle like I've done, and you go down like that. Then you go around the second black needle and you go in front of the third black needle. Then you go behind the first white needle and in front of the next white needle. So this is how you thread the machine. Alternatively, like that: back, front, back, front, back, front, back, front, back, front. And we do it slowly so that we don't miss a needle, because once we do that, the unfortunate thing about this machine is half the time you have to undo everything and start all over again. So if you don't want to waste time, you need to be very careful that you start slowly and make sure you grasp the threading or the casting on mechanism, so that you don't waste your time. Now, when we get to the last white needle here, or the first white needle on the right of the black, to make sure that we've done it rightly, we will go behind that white needle. We open our latchet, we pull through our thread, and we close it so it's tightly secure inside there. This is what also guidelines the thread, and this is where we also apply the tension to make sure we don't have too much loose tension. Okay, now I've zeroized my row counter. Like I said, I want to reach up to 90 rows. So 90, 100, we'll see how far we'll go. So let's get cranking. As we start, I'm sure you're hearing that funny 2020 noise. What that funny 2020 noise is doing is because it's the beginning, but as we maneuver, it becomes smoother. The noise it won't be totally silent, but at least it won't be an annoying kind of noise. Okay. The whole reason why I'm going to do it from start to finish with you here is for you to appreciate how long it will take to make a hat. Depending on the size you are going to make, you have an appreciation of how much time it takes. Okay. Yes, at times the machine will make some very awkward noises, but it's nothing to worry about. It's normal with this kind of machine. Yeah, but as you will appreciate, it's much faster than hand, proper. This is also manual. As you can see, I'm still doing manual, but it's faster than the manual, the hand one, where you are using 2 pins. Then do knit one, purl one, and all those other types. On this machine today, we're just going to knit a very plain hat. You can also make patterns on this machine, but that's a tutorial for another day. We have to master how to make the plain hats first on this machine, and then we will move on, in the next couple of weeks to demonstrate how to do the patterns. They are very, nice, and they look great on this machine, especially when you use thicker wool. Okay, now I did mention that we are still using 48 pins and the same and different types of wool, whether it be double knit, whether it be Aran. The only secret is on the tension which you apply. As you can see, my left hand is holding onto this thread here. And while I'm holding onto it, I'm giving it a small tap. And the tighter I pull, of course, without pulling hard enough to damage my needles, the tighter the tension will be. It will be like I'm using thinner needles to make my hats. So that's the whole idea. But in this case, because I'm using Aran and I'm making an adult hat, kind of, I'm not pulling that hard because I know the outcome will still come out right, with this kind of wool. I've tried chunky wool. Chunky wool is thicker than the ordinary Aran I'm using now, but it's a bit harsh on the machine. You will try it out by yourself and see how it goes. But personally, I find it to be a bit hard to maneuver, and I'm always afraid to damage my needles. So I'm very, very cautious. So what I normally do is when I'm knitting for adults, I'm normally using the Aran wool. And then when I'm knitting for smaller children, or when I'm doing smaller hats, I'll use the double knit wool, which is very easy to work with. It flows very smoothly because it's not harsh on the needles. But of course, like I said, if you don't check on the wool to provide a bit of tension, your item will be a bit loose. Okay. So here we are almost on row 40. We are cruising very well, which is almost like we are halfway, not quite, but almost there. Let's see how far we go. Just go round, 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 like a teddy bear. You can see the needles popping up and down, up and down, up and down. And as long as my row counter is working properly, oh yes, that's another thing we need to be mindful of. At times the row counter might skip. By skipping, I'm saying, or maybe it gets stuck for whatever reason, I don't know. It's one of those things to look out for so that you don't mess up your project. And also, the good thing about it is even if your row counter messes you up and you have an idea of how big it has to be dropping from the machine, you can still make that size hat or maybe undo and start all over again, which is time wasting, obviously. Okay, like I said, I want you to appreciate how much time it takes to make a hat, so that for those who are planning to buy their own machine for personal use or for knitting for friends or as a hobby, I don't know whether you're starting a business, because obviously if you want to start a business of making these hats, you have to be creative enough to put your own branding as well as, putting any other stuff which will make them unique, which will make them stand out. It's a very good idea. It's a very good idea to do that, because this is the basic which I'm showing you, and then obviously the rest of it is your own imagination and your own creativity. But once you master the basic way of doing it, you are home and dry. So this is where we are, folks. We are doing very well. Before you know it, I'll be telling you that we are off, we are casting off. As you can see, and as I'm going round and round like this, the head will be dropping into the middle of the machine. At times, if you use very thin wool, it can crumble up. You might need to apply weights, but so far all the wool I've used, I've never had to apply weights. And by the way, I've posted a short displaying the hats I've made on this machine, some of the hats anyway, I've made on this machine on the YouTube under my channel. You just go to the short and look for hats and hats, something like that. You'll be able to appreciate the amount of work I've done on this machine. Of course, this machine is securely anchored so that it doesn't move as I go around. It's very important to have that because it makes work a lot easier. Okay, we are doing well, folks. We are now on row 70, so we are definitely well over halfway, and we haven't even, maybe we've only done 10 minutes of our time on this project. And for those who are seasoned knitters, you already know how long it takes to make, a hat using the 2-pin needles, knit one, purl one. So yes, you will appreciate that this is a much faster and quicker way to warm your family. Much faster and quicker way to keep your family warm and snugly, especially in the winter chills. Anyway, we are doing very well. And the other thing is to always make sure that you can even pull it down there if you think it's maybe going to roll up. Okay, just to give you an indication of what's happening there, that's the product there, inside there, going all the way down. Okay, that's our project there. Will soon be done, folks. Then I'll show you how to take off. I think for this exercise, we just want to go up to row. Let me try and go up to row 100. Maybe it will be a fair-sized head for people with small heads. Okay, folks, we've reached the end of this, row 100. So I'll leave a sizable length of yarn. I cut it off because our next stage now is to pick the stitches. We want to take it off our machine because our garment is now ready to put together. So I use this plastic needle so as not to damage my machine. Normally comes with the machine anyway. So I open this to take off the yarn. I make sure I close it because as I move around, I don't want to damage my needles. Okay, so we start off by, I don't know whether you can see it properly, but it's easy. Won't be difficult. I'm picking the needles to start off with, one at a time. I'll be going, this is clockwise, yeah? So I'll be, just like the way I'll be knitting, that's the way I'll be going as well, picking the needle, the stitches. So you can actually be very fast if you want to, as long as you don't make sure you drop. You make sure you don't drop the stitches because that's also very important. This is the easiest, not the easiest, but the scariest part of it. But anyway, if ever that happens, you can always work with your crochet hook and your needles, or even this very needle I'm using, to rectify the mistake, because it's not easy to undo and start all over again, because that wastes time. Okay, so here I am now that the garment is a bit flexible. I'm finding myself even picking up more than just one, like this time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've picked up 6 there, which makes it a lot easier. Here I go again. See how many I'll pick this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, that was good. Then I'm almost done picking up the stitches, because I don't want to waste your time by picking them one by one, which obviously when you're starting you should do, so that you don't so there we are, folks. That's the finished thing. Now you have to stretch it. As you can see, it's a long tubular thing. You now stretch it to make sure the stitches are nice and smooth. That's what we are doing there. Stretch it. So this is the top, this is the bottom. What I normally do is, at times you find that things happen, you can get 1 or 2 bumps on the garment, but in this one I've been fortunate, there's no mishap. So any side can be in the inside, any side can be the outside. Okay, since I already have my needle here, what you then do is to put it together. This is not putting it together. You pull tight the thread, as you can see, as tight as you can go. Then just try and go through those stitches to strengthen them. You can do that a couple of times. Okay, and once that's done, you can see I'm putting my needle there and I'm holding this whole garment like that. Then I am pulling it through inside to the other top. So there we are. I've now doubled my head. Then you can make it single. If you want to make it single, it means you do like half the rows, and then you'll have to work out to do a rib for the borderline there. But for this exercise, we are just making very warm heads here. So here we are. So what I do is, again, when I get to the top here, I now have 2 loose ends, and I make sure that the things are tight enough. And there I go. I tie maybe 2-3 times, normally 3 times. I mean, the rest for seasoners, even for beginners, is easy. You just have to finish off, tidy up, and if I fold it like that, voila, there comes your head, big enough for a young child, if not a small adult, depending on if you leave it like this. This is quite big for a big adult. Yeah, so you can do more rows to get a bigger outcome and so forth, but this is the best idea. Thank you, folks, for watching my video. See you in the next video. I hope you've enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to share. Good day.